Mm. Hello, everyone. I just want to fix my screen here so that I can be seen properly. Anyways, happy Friday. It's a Friday again, and I'm back. Thank you for Wusa for allowing me to come back. Really happy to be doing this reading. Hope everyone is safe. I know Fridays, start of the weekend, can be pretty wild, but I hope everyone is safe and everyone is taking care and remembering who they are and what they are. And today we'll be starting a new book called Transcendence to Civilization, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll find out very shortly.
Civilization and Transcendence.
I'm sorry, it's called Civilization and Transcendence. I mixed it up. But yeah, it's my first time actually ever reading that book, so I'm very excited. I'll be going through it for the first time with probably most of you guys today. So I'm really excited to hear what's in the book. Just want to say thank you to all the previous speakers that we've had this past week. On Sunday, we had Mongisipo. Go check that out. On Monday, we had Kulufelo Prabhu. On Tuesday, we had Nomsa. And then on Wednesday, we had Itumaling. Please go check that out. I really enjoyed that one. It was a real heart to heart, real expression of one's journey in Bhakti and how they are having a relationship with Krishna. So it's quite nice. And then yesterday we had not our usual program of the Krishna book, but rather we had just going over the Shri Upanishad that we had just done the past 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, going over it and asking questions to Sabyasachi Das Prabhu just to get more clarification or just to, unpack anything that we weren't sure of or anything that we have some doubts of, anything that. So please go check that out as well. Like and subscribe, and we'd love to also get you guys feedback. Is it working? Are you understanding what's being given? Is it complex? Is it easy? What do you guys think about the books? What do you think about the speakers? We'd also like some new speakers as well. We'd really appreciate anyone who wants to participate. I really appreciate that. But so about to get started soon. Just once again, thank you for everyone who is joining live on Facebook, who's going to see it afterwards. And thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you so much. We can, as soon as I see the book, we'll be able to get started. Okay, so as always, before we get into the reading of the books, before we get into anything that has to do with the soul and any spiritual activities that one might be doing, there's always an invocation which is done. So today we'll get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So as I said, today we're starting a new book, Civilization and Transcendence. The first chapter will be Religion with No Conception of God. As I said, first time reading this book, so I don't even know what to expect actually. So I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are as well. Okay, can get started. Religion with no conception of God. Pushta Krishna. Pushta. Thank you, bro. Pushta Krishna. Seems like this is a conversation between a devotee and Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Pushta Krishna. Srila Prabhupada. This questionnaire was sent to you by Bhavan's Journal, a cultural and religious magazine in Bombay. They are questioning various religious and spiritual leaders, trying to get the answers to some of the important questions that are perplexing people today. So there's a list of questions. And the first is this: is the influence of religion over the masses on the wane? Hey, that's a good question. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, this is predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, chapter 2, verse 1. Tatas chanu dinam Dharma, Satyam, Saucham, Kyasama, Daya, Kalena, Balina, Rajan, Nan Ksya Yati, Aryu, Balam, Smriti. In Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there shall be a waning of these qualities: religiosity, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, memory, bodily strength, duration of life, and mercy. Yeah, I always like. It's always interesting to see this. So yeah, in Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there shall be a waning of these qualities: religiosity, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, memory, bodily strength, duration of life, and mercy. Yeah, and mercy one, yeah, you see it like no one's business. You really see that one. These are the human assets, qualities which make a human being distinct from the animals, but these things will decline. There will be almost no mercy. There will be almost no truthfulness. Memory will be shortened, duration of life shortened. Similarly, religion will practically vanish. So that means gradually human beings will descend to the platform of animals. Especially when there's no religion, human beings are simply animals. This any common man can distinguish. That a dog does not understand what religion is. Sorry. The dog is also a living being, but he is not interested in what is being discussed here about Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the distinction between man and dog. The animal is not interested. So when human beings are becoming uninterested in religion, they are becoming animals. Hectic stuff. And how can there be happiness or peace in animal society? The big leaders want to keep the citizenry as animals. At the same time, they are striving to make a united nation. How is it possible? United animals? Yeah, it is not possible. Society for united animals. Yeah. Actually says laughter here as well. Society for united animals. In the science of logic, it is said, man is a rational animal. So when rationality is missing, one becomes simply an animal. What is the possibility of being a human being? In human society, whether you are Christian or Mohammedan or a Hindu or Buddhist, it doesn't matter. But there must be a system of religion. That is human society. A human society without religion, animal society. This is the plain fact. Why are people unhappy now? Because they are neglecting religion. One gentleman has written me that Marx said, religion is the opium of the people. That means the communists are very adamant against God consciousness because they think that religion has spoiled the whole atmosphere. Religion might have been misused, but that does not mean that religion should be avoided. Real religion should be taken. Simply because religion has not been properly executed by the so-called priest, that does not mean religion should be rejected. If my eye is giving me some kind of trouble on account of cataract, that does not mean my eye should be plucked out. The cataract should be removed. That's a good example. So that is the idea of Krishna conscious movement, to remove the cataract from people's religion. Before moving on, I think it's really important. Yeah, personally, I think that it's really important that we see in whichever book that you're reading, whether it be Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, as we saw Sri Upanishad, Krishna book that we were reading, now even this book again. One of the first points that they always just taking a hammer and knocking onto that point is that the information about the soul, the information about God, information, I guess, about religion, all of that has to do specifically with the human beings. And how is one a human being? With that identity that they understand that I am a soul and I have a relationship with God. I am part and parcel of God. Prabhupada is stating here that if one forgets that if they are no longer interested in themselves, no longer interested, when I say themselves, I mean interested in themselves as the soul, no longer interested in the relationship with God, and no longer interested in Dharma and religion, then we simply become animals. And that becomes a problem, because when we are simply animals, then we are only concerned with the bodily features, with the sense gratification, how to increase this sense gratification, how to live a soft life. That becomes the prime goal. And when that becomes the prime goal, then it means that we've forgotten our true identity. And as Prabhupada says, we practically commit spiritual suicide. So hence, again and again, it is repeated that you are not this body, you are the soul. That you are not the senses, you are the soul. That God, religion, any information regarded with the soul is specifically for the human beings, because they have the higher intelligence to take advantage. So it's nice to see that again and again. Generally, modern so-called religious leaders have no conception of God, and yet they are preaching religion. What good is that religion? People are simply being misled. Real religion means God's order. Dharma, Tu Saksad, Bhagavad Pranitam. If your religion has no conception of God, where is the question of religion? Still, without any conception of God, they are professing some religion. How long will it go on artificially? It will deteriorate. That ignorance about God has resulted in the present condition. Religion means the order of God, just as law means the order of the state. Now, if your social system, there is no state, where is the question of the state's order? You'll simply manufacture your own order. Today, that is going on in the field of religion. There is no conception of God, and therefore no following of God's order. But we devotees of Krishna have a clear conception of God. He is God, Krishna, and He is giving orders. We accept those orders. So it is clear. So it is clear religion. But if there is no conception of God, no order of God, then where is the question of religion? Or someone in some other religious system, what their conception of the form of God is? Can anyone tell you? Can anyone tell clearly? Nobody can say, but we shall immediately say, Vinam Kanvanantam Aravi Vinda Dala Taksam Bahadvatam Sam Asitam Buddha Snuda Daranrangam Sundarangam Kandarpa Kuti Kamaniya Visesa Subam Visesha Subam Govindam Adi Purusam Tam Aham Bhajami. This is from Brahma Samhita, from Lord Brahma's prayers. And they say actually, sorry, just a quick story. They say actually that the information that Brahma is given is not intellectual knowledge, but experience, but knowledge that he's actually seen. Yeah, he's seen Govinda, he's seen Krishna. So this information that he is given of how his planet looks like, his abode, and what is happening there, what he is doing, is all things that he has seen. So here we're actually given a small reference of that, of what Lord Brahma is seeing when he is visiting the residence of Goloka Vrindavan. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, whose eyes are like the petals of a blooming lotus, whose head is bedecked with a peacock's feather, whose figure of beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and whose unique loveliness charms millions of Cupid. I have this thing that um, whenever I'm reading or doing something I feel which is important, I start to sweat, especially like there's a lot of light. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of light. Yeah, it really affects me. So if this happens to anyone else as well, let me know. We are in the same WhatsApp group. But I would like to further mention, and Prabhupada has mentioned it here as well, that we see part of the world. There's very much this natural desire to make the world a better place. It's very common. Already you hear it in the news, even now with the whole COVID-19, the vaccinations and everything. I guess, the whole idea is that we want to make the world, a safer place so that we can go back to living our normal lives and so on and so forth. They say a whole bunch of things. You see it, the United Nations, even the AU, IMF, International Monetary Fund, what is it? WHO, World Health Organizations. So you can see that there are a number of groups which have come together who are trying to think of different ideas on how we can make this world a better place. But Prabhupada says here, and he also says in other places, that if the idea is that these individuals from China, South Africa, Russia, America, Brazil, whatever it might be, are coming together, then we're all coming with our own separate ideas on how to enhance our lives of our people, my South African people, American, Brazilians, whatever it might be. That if this is always the mentality, the atmosphere that we are coming from all these designated places, which Prabhupada says that the only reason actually why there are so many split up places is so that those who are running those places can further increase their sense gratification. That he says that the only way such ideas, such plans of humanitarianism and things like that can work is if one properly understands to whom everything belongs. In I think it's the first mantra of Shreyas Panisad, where we are told that everything inanimate and animate belongs to the Supreme Lord. So if everyone has that understanding that everything in this world, animate and inanimate, in the universe, outside the universe, wherever it might be, everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the ideas can be much easier, or rather can be much straightforward, or they can be a single goal of points as to exactly what is the ultimate goal of the human beings. What is it that we are trying to accomplish as people, as leaders, as family members, as whatever type of leader you might be in society, a teacher, husband, or wife, whatever it might be. What is the ultimate goal of one's life? So if the countries were able to get together and establish exactly what is the ultimate goal of this human society, where is it that we want to see ourselves under the umbrella that everything and all of us belongs to Krishna, then we would actually have a proper unified front. We'll actually have a universal brotherhood. But in the meantime, because the whole identification is my country, my place, my citizens, I'm Chinese, I'm African, I'm American, I'm that, there can never be any, what they call it, agreement as to what is the way forward. We can even see now with the happenings of COVID-19, how some countries, if they find different variants and whatever it might be, sometimes they are banned, or we have South Africa now, which is no longer allowed to fly to certain places. So we can see how these differences in all these type of places can create different outcomes for different people and different places, which then create so many problems. So yeah, if there's no universal brotherhood, no proper understanding of what we are, where whom to we belong, and whom to whom everything belongs, then there can never be a proper usage of all these facilities that we have here. Yeah, not even a proper usage really of the actual human body. Yeah, everything eventually goes to waste. So it's very important that we understand the philosophy of religion, the philosophy of Krishna, the philosophy of what Srila Prabhupada is trying to give us, so that we are able to think in a more unified way, in a way that really suits everyone. And then the last paragraph. Immediately, description here is God. Then there is religion. And if there is no conception of God, where is the question of religion? Bogus. That is why religiosity and the other normal human qualities are declining. People have no conception of God, and therefore there is no understanding of religion. As a result, the whole human civilization is declining. And because it is declining, human beings are becoming more and more like animals. I really wish. Am I going to the next one? It'd be really nice to see what people think about this, that because there's very much a discussion that human society is improving, is advancing, and it's getting better. But sometimes when you really take a look at what is getting better, it's technology. Our phones, we're hearing now that they're going to build these super fast trains, super fast airplanes, whatever type of medicine. As you can see now, we used to go to school to study at school. Now we can just open up our laptop and have our teachers here. Everything is becoming simple or easier. But that we can say that technology is advancing. But to say that the human being is advancing, you can't say. I mean, a good example can be like 10 years ago, if someone had to ask you, what's the number, what's your mom's number, your dad's number, and 5 other people, you'd be easy, you know it. But now, if someone had to ask you what's your number, you even have to check what's your own number on your phone, because it's such a heavy reliance on technology that, a to-do list, you can just put it down on your phone. You want to wake up, alarm. You want to do any of this, if you like someone who likes cooking in these days, you don't even need a knife. You just need some gadget, food processor, that's the name. 1, 2, 1, 2, and everything is done. And so we can see how technology is advancing, but actually the human civilization, the human beings actually themselves, if you really question that, it can really be questioned. Are we as people, as a civilization, our knowledge and a deeper understanding of ourselves, are we advancing? Are we getting better? As Prabhupada is saying here, that we're just becoming more and more like animals. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, what? What is... In the time before I, was familiar with Krishna consciousness, I would say, this guy. So then I know Savya Sahitas probably would be like, no, you can't say this guy. But at that time, just to, reference for the story, I was like, what is Brother Prabhupada talking about? I'm like, what is he talking about? What does he mean when he says human civilization is not advancing? I mean, can he not see? Can he not see the phones? Can he not see what Elon Musk is trying to do? Can he not see what the world is trying to do? Can he not see the advancements that people are trying to make to cleaner energy and so on and so forth? Is he not aware of any of these things? But it's only when I realized that, or rather when further into reading and realizing that actually our true identity is our soul. And with us continuously neglecting that true identity as a soul, then we neglect who we really are. And that we can, the example is given that if someone comes to you driving a nice car, once you step out your car, and if someone comes to you and say, hey man, coming talking to your car and saying this car looks really lovely and everything like that, wanting to know the name of the car and carrying in such a way that taking the car to be you, you'd be very much confused at the person. You would think that this person is a madman. Why is he so much obsessed about this vehicle? So similarly, it's the same thing, that we are very much obsessed about this vehicle, or yantra as they call it, a machine, that we actually forget about the actual person, the individual, who you are, who is inside, situated within the heart, with the super soul aspect partner Atma. So yeah, that's a very good question, I think, to ask. Is human civilization advancing? Are we getting better as people? Do we understand ourselves? Do we really know what's going on? It's true, religion is underway, but more, that Prabhupada even points out that before we even speak about religion, what about God? Who is God? What does he do? What does he look like? What are his activities? And we know that most people, not even we know, rather it's better to say that you can make the experiments yourself. You can go and find out, ask anyone who you think is God conscious about if they do know what is God, who is God, the activities, what does he do, who are his devotees, what do they do in his planets, and does he have a planet, and so on and so forth. What are the questions, what are the answers that people get? Because there is really a waning and waning of religion. But I think it's more due to a lack of understanding what this really is. A question, Musa 108. The technology is also a quick way to a lot of distractions in the name of entertainment. Any thoughts on the mass distraction from the cultivation of the soul identity? Speaking from this is a really nice question because I can put that into my own life. That now, I mean, technology is wild, man. It's so, yeah, it's so, technology, it just can consume you, and now there's so much. There's Twitter, there's WhatsApp, there's TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and things like Snapchat are even considered old and outdated. You have Facebook, YouTube, you've got Showmax, Netflix. There's so much which consumes your time, you know. Um, it's right. Unbelievable, actually, the amount of things which are just fighting for your attention. Um, I I remember once reading, I'm not too sure if it was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati or Narottam Das Thakur, who was saying that now in my time, spiritual life is impossible. So what more? So how much more will spiritual life become impossible 100 years? I think it was 50, 100 years or so on from now when I'm gone. And that is true. Then actually, a quick story. I'm so sorry. I was listening to a talk today by Srila Prabhupada. It really made me think, and he was saying that the human life, or rather life, is so precious that one might be 25, you might be 30, 35, 40, whatever age you might be. But even if one wants to buy 5 years back of their life, or wants to go back a little bit, or wants to buy 10 years, there is no amount of money that can be paid, that you can pay to get that time back. So but what Prabhupada is trying to point out is that just see how precious life is. Yeah, life is extremely precious, and that we do not have time actually to be wasting it on sense gratification, which is easily gotten also by the animals. That this human life should be used properly, actually, to get into the science of self-realization, to properly understand one life. So, with so many distractions and technology and things like that, it really makes it extremely difficult for people. Because especially such spaces are very scarce, actually. It's not really common to come across such spaces where information like this is given. So we really hope that people can engage more, people can give their insights, people can let us know. Do they disagree? Do they disagree with what's being said? Do they agree? What do they think? We'd really love to hear what other people are saying and are thinking. Hare Krishna Gauranga Maga Pada. Hare Krishna Prabhu. With Hare Krishna dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Guranga. All glories to Shri Guru and Guranga. Excited to watch and share wisdom readings again. I started watching these readings a few days ago and listened to Dimaling and Nomsan was wonderful. will be reading with you guys regularly if I have the book you're reading or not. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I hope you're enjoying what's being shared. I think it's also important to know, because sometimes after doing a reading, I'm honest, like, what was I saying? But what's important to note is that these are not our words. It's not like as if we've written these books or anything like that. It is information that we have taken from the Vedanta, information that Srila Prabhupada has given, information that the Gaudiya Vaishnava have given, which is perfect because it comes from the perfect source. It does not have any mistakes. So, yeah, it's very important to understand where the information is coming from. It is not coming from some mundane people. So, yeah, that's me. If there's any more questions, happy to answer what I can answer. If I'm not mistaken, tomorrow we've got Oscar Monk at 7. Today we actually have the Heart to Heart Lady Sangha. So I hope that's going well. I hope people have been jumping onto that. It's a really informative program, a program worth going to. And then on Sunday we have a guest speaker. I'm not too sure who it is. Actually, I haven't seen. So I'm also curious to see who's the Sunday guest speaker. Oh, here it is. Our Sunday guest speaker is His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami. Will be speaking this Sunday. So please do catch that as well. Please like and subscribe and share. And yeah, I really appreciate it. We really like to hear what you guys are thinking. What do your own books say? You know, Prabhupada has mentioned they got the Muhammadan, the Christian text, and all the other texts. We really like to hear what they say. What are they saying about God, His abode, His people? What is He doing? And let's have a chat. Thank you very much for catching me this Friday. Hope to see you again next Friday. Hare Krishna.